Go open this up here. Well, good morning. And this is David Langsather. This is my Opus 15 violin made in 2007, and it's given as a wedding gift to my son. And I've just borrowed it back so I can update the acoustics. So we're taking a fresh look at this. And I did a tap tone survey, which you'll see under the heading of tap tone surveys. And this is the tap tone summary data sheet. You'll also see a close-up copy of this. And basically, we want the scroll to be at 160. We want the top plate and a bunch of the other parts to be at 176. And we want the back plate and the tailpiece proper and the bridge to be at 198. So I think today we're going to talk about the sound holes, and the survey showed the left-hand sound hole is just slightly low to 176, and the right sound hole, though, however, was 183, so it's up about 7 Hertz. So I want to adjust those two now, and I think I can show you how we know the sound holes are proper. You notice the back plate is almost exactly the 198. The top plate, however, is 187, so it's quite a bit too high. But we can use the back plate as a reference because it's so close to ideal. So once you have a reference, that can determine how all the other parts of the instrument are relative. For instance, just draw an X between the 4 corners, and that's our tapping point. Just a very light tap. Now compare it to the top, which is just right between the upper holes on the sound holes. It's right in the middle. And so the back. Top sounds like it's high, which it is. And for instance, the sound hole, let's look at the left sound hole and use the back as a reference. I'll stop the strings with my fingers. Sounds a little bit low. Now if we look at the right sound hole, using the back as a reference, sounds a bit high, which it is. And that's why you can tell for sure what the frequency should be. So, since the left sound hole is just slightly low, let's do this one first. Okay, and the rule is if the sound hole, you're just blowing across in this direction, and with a dry breath, just like that. If it's too low, we want to slightly increase the area of this end of the sound hole. Here, where it's too high, we're going to slightly increase the area of the big hole in the bottom here. So, in this case, you can use a little X-Acto knife with a very sharp new blade. You can also use Tel Swiss needle files, which I recommend. And here's one that has a bit of a curved shape on the back. So, we're just going to, you have to do this artistically so you don't you don't want to, you got to keep the attractive shape here. So take your time with this step, okay? Alright, so it's sounding pretty good. And even though these are different frequencies, this should be 176 and this is 198, they're complementary frequencies, so it should sound neither higher nor lower. Sounds neither higher nor lower. Let's check and see what it really is. Here's my tap tone reference tool. And you see the plans, the measurements, and the tuning sound files so you can calibrate this all accurately are under useful tools. You'll find all the directions there. Okay. I go a little bit lower, a little higher. So it's bracketed, it's 176. So what we're going to do is mark that down on my chart here. I'm just going to circle it and show that it's, I'll check it off. Now the right sound hole, which is at 183, that's what it should be. Okay, it just went high here, so that's 182.5, something like that. Okay, so it's too high. We're going to lower it. We're going to slightly increase the shape. And again, I think I'll just use a little file. And looking at this hole, it looks like it could go a little more of a curve in this area. So we'll just do it artistically. Remember, when you're dealing with this area, it's very fragile, light, and slow and easy. That's the key. So as you're varnishing your instrument, a little varnish is going to go inside here, and that's going to change the shape and the size of these holes, so it's going to make a difference. You're going to have to adjust that later. Okay, we're going to have to check this as we go, see where we're at. We're down to almost 180, so we're moving in the right direction. Now remember, if you do use a knife, you must always go down grain. So this would be down grain, and this would be down grain in that direction. And just look at the grain and follow it. So this would be down grain here on this side. It'd be down grain going in this direction. It'd be down grain going this direction. And go in the wrong direction could split your wood. You don't want that. That's down to about 178, so we're just slightly too high still. We're getting close. Constantly check to look at the shape of these holes. So. Our eyes are very perceptive, and we see the slightest anomaly. You notice I'm using the curved part of the file here. Okay, see how we're doing. It's lower, higher, we're bracketed. Now let's show the tap on the back. Okay, so I'm going to tap right here in the center of the back. So sounds neither higher nor lower. Okay, so that's a little mini lesson in using tap tones, tuning to adjust the sound holes of an instrument. And like I said, because the varnish is going to fill up the sides a little bit and reduce the area, even if you have it perfect with the bare wood plates, top plate, after you assemble it and varnish it, you're going to have to touch it up a little bit. Okay?